that good-looking site was an off-the-shelf $60 WordPress template.
Right.
It had no semantic markup. It had no schema.
Right.
The code was sloppy and bloated.
Right.
It was overloaded with JavaScript, which slowed the load time down. So once you know what you're looking for, all of a sudden,
at least it was good looking.
The lights came on. Yeah. All of a sudden, the lights came on.
Yeah. But when we look at it, we don't see it that way, right?
Right.
And so why does it matter what we see? We're like looking at it with the lights on, though we are.
Right.
But why does all those? And there's more to it than that. But why does it matter if they have that code base? If things are marked up well, if they have content and schema and blogging and regular work and details, why do they care?
Well, I mean, the easy answer to that is because Google cares,
Right.
obviously. And that's why we care, by the way, because we try to see it the way they're going to see it.
Hey there, it is Nolen and Jason here for HVAC Webmasters.
Howdy.
And today the topic is how you see your HVAC SEO and how Google sees it. And
Right.
Jason liked this one. I thought it was, I don't know. So I don't know where to start with
I think
this
it is
one.
an apt metaphor.
Let's just start right into it. And
Okay.
So you would, essentially the analogy is that you would have beer goggles on.
Mm-hmm.
And Google is like closing time with all the lights on.
Right.
Anyway, so yeah, let's explain some of that. You want to start in on any piece of that? What does the average, well, I'll tell you what the average client sees because I talked to so many of them.
Okay.
And then you can tell me exactly what the algorithm
Why
sees.
they're wrong.
Yeah, why does So why did I come up with an analogy that the average client, when they are looking at their website, has beer goggles on? Is because many times they're in love with their web designs.
Right.
They
Paid a lot of money for it. It's really pretty.
They paid
whatever.
money. They approved it. They stamped it. And they're and we can even talk about that evaluation you did a little bit earlier because it's a perfect deal.
Yeah.
So when the client is looking at it, they don't see all the flaws of that website. They're not looking at it. In fact, they probably don't have they don't have the requirements to be able to tell what's wrong with it. But if you're really honest with yourself about them and you start looking at fantastic overall HVAC SEO efforts, you'll see that competitors have better looking design, better calls to action, better content, more content, worked on more regularly, more reviews, more integration stuff, more social media. They'll just have all that. But when you look at it yourself and you kind of built that baby, you're like, hey, it's not bad. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
But
everybody I know tells me it looks great.
Yeah.
My wife loves it.
Yeah. And so we had somebody just call and we did a site evaluation, and we had a client sign up for paid advertising, which we're happy to do, no problem with it. And the website was better looking than average, but
better than most we see.
Yeah,
actually.
the attitude of the client was, I only need pay-per-click management. I don't want to mess with SEO. And when I went in and looked at the site, it was better than average looking, but it lacked so much stuff that it was ridiculous.
Right.
And it doesn't make sense. Now, I'm not saying he shouldn't do paid advertising. I'm saying that it doesn't make any sense not to go after these things that are wrong, to push all of his organic rankings on his organic keywords and his map placement and all that as high as possible.
Right.
And he definitely had on the beer goggles.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, it was nice looking. I mean, as a designer, I looked at it and said, oh, this site actually looks good. But that good looking site was an off-the-shelf $60 WordPress template.
Right.
It had no semantic markup. It had no schema.
Right.
The code was sloppy and bloated.
Right.
It was overloaded with JavaScript, which slowed the load time down. So once you know what you're looking for, all of a sudden,
at least it was good looking.
The lights came on. Yeah. All of a sudden, the lights came on.
Yeah. But when we look at it, we don't see it that way, right?
Right.
And so why does it matter what we see? We're like looking at it with the lights on, though we are.
Right.
But why does all those? And there's more to it than that. But why does it matter if they have that code base, if things are marked up well, if they have content And schema and blogging and regular work and details, why do they care? You know?
Well, I mean, the easy answer to that is because Google cares,
Right.
obviously. And that's why we care, by the way, because we try to see it the way they're going to see it.
Right.
But the reason is all of those things help Google decide where your website deserves to be when someone does a search.
Right.
That's the simple
So
answer.
we just talked about this on another video, but that schema code can mark up pictures. It can mark up the aggregate star rating. It can show them where logos are. So just on the organic search can go from like however big the screen is to like double the thickness of it, because all of a sudden it has a photo and stars and maybe even site links underneath it.
Right.
And this guy actually, and I said this earlier, he may continue to do paid advertising, but I know that the organic is the best return, probably by like 500%.
Right.
So all those keywords of all this stuff is done are going to move up higher in the ranking and even higher in the map placement. It's over all Google My Business homepage, and his presence online is going to look slicker and better. And all this stuff coded properly even helps the click-through rating.
Right.
And helps those keywords move even higher, which obviously gets him more business impressions. And it's all free stuff too. The SEO is still free, still 76% of search.
Right.
And it really is important for the client on the HVAC company's side to say, I may like my site, but I know something's probably wrong with it. Maybe I do have beer goggles.
If your site's beautiful and you love it when you look at it, but it doesn't perform for you, there's a problem.
Right.
And I mean, we see because they spent a lot of money on it, sometimes because they did it themselves, sometimes
Right.
because their friends like it. A lot of times it's because their niece and nephew, and it's always a niece and nephew, did it for them.
Is it?
And
Yeah.
I've never had someone say
it's a
my
kid.
son
It's
did
a kid.
it. It's always a niece or nephew.
The kids sometimes. We
Yeah.
lost a client because of the kid doing it.
Was it? Oh, okay.
Not that most recent one.
Oh, okay.
That you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's usually a niece or nephew in my
I guarantee
20 years
you
of
the niece or
experience.
nephew or son or daughter or whoever, and no offense to anybody's family member, absolutely does not know enough to code all this properly.
Right. I mean, we don't. I mean, individually here, we don't know enough to do every piece of it properly. We got 20 people back there to make sure we cover all our bases and do every piece correctly.
Right.
But yeah, just because you personally like the person that did it for you, and just because it maybe looks nice,
People will actually
you gotta look
argue
deeper.
about it when they call, and not that we don't mind talking about it or answering questions, but people will actually say, well, Nolen, we already have a design. I already have content. Well, I like the site I have. So this is like a really...
I paid a lot of money for that.
I paid a lot of money for it.
We hear that one a lot.
Yeah, I had somebody one time pay $30,000 for one, and it still was bad.
Yeah.
But, just because you like it doesn't mean that Google likes it. And just for the record, nobody calls here that has some perfect web presence for the first time.
Yeah. If someone's got a beautiful, perfect web presence and it's firing on all cylinders and they got a ton of money coming in,
They don't ever call.
We don't get that phone call
we don't
because
call.
they have no reason to call.
And frankly, almost nobody has that, by the way,
Yeah,
because almost nobody does it.
Yeah, I don't think I remember a time that happened.
The beer goggles is a really nice way of saying that somebody needs, they need to see stuff accurately so that they can move forward on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not, you need a website you can take home to mama. Then you'll rank high.
There you go.
You like that one?
Yeah, there you go.
Not bad.
That works.
Anyway. So yeah, I mean,
we need to put that on our website. A website you can take home to mama.
website you can take home to mama. Yeah. It's like,
That should be the title for this
there you
episode.
go.
actually.
That was better.
Yeah,
well.
we may change
Took a
it.
while. But yeah, so when all this is done well, guys, the sites actually work well. The return's great. The guy that called up that got the AdWords management only, which we're really happy to do, but he was missing all this other stuff because he really wasn't seeing the reality of what needed to be done, mainly because he didn't have the skill sets, which nobody does. I'm not picking on that. You guys don't do web work or code schema for a living or...
I can't fix an AC unit. I definitely can't. I got to call one of you guys to do that.
Same difference.
And that's why you should call us to do this.
Yeah, it's one thing that, I guess people do that now. They Google search how to fix their AC repair.
Yeah,
but
and when they break it worse.
Yeah,
Like, oh my God,
I
and
would
it
never
costs
go and
twice
start
as
trying to
much.
clean, coils or to
Yeah.
or to like change out a solenoid.
Right.
I'd be afraid I was going to get some high pressure deal and like lose my eyesight or something.
Or burn the house down.
Or burn the house down. Or inhale tons of coolant and
Yeah.
that like settles as fluid in my lungs or something like that.
Die 10 years earlier.
Yeah.
But I saved $200 on an AC repair.
$200 on my AC repair, but I put myself in mortal danger.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that somebody in this office cleaned their own coils one time on it, but I don't.
I bet I know who you're talking
You
about.
you probably do. Yeah.
We have a very handy.
It's the gentleman that sits next to him that did it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that guy's pretty handy too. We got
Yeah.
a couple of guys that like to do stuff for themselves.
Anyway, I'm sure they appreciate that. I would never do it. I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch it.
So all these things need to get done. And guys, really, if you want to have like a higher end web presence and really take organic to the nines and continue to go with it, you can really just keep adding and adding and adding to it. There's a big difference, and I think it's another one we're going to do on another topic, that SEO, I think it's called SEO is Hard in 2019. But it's really, it has gotten more difficult, but the gist of it is they're just smart enough not to take crap signaling anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
The algorithm gets smarter every day.
It's finally gotten there. So the website that looks okay to you, that might look slightly superior to your competitors, but still doesn't work well, it's missing so much stuff that it's unbelievable. And even if it does okay, and you're like, Nolen and Jason, I do okay. Yeah, but you don't do well enough.
You need to do better than okay.
You need to do better.
Talking about the one client that we were discussing that had the nice looking site that wasn't going to perform. I think a lot of people get something like that, and they think they paid a lot of money for a site. They got a nice looking site, and they still don't get organic. So they conclude that SEO doesn't work. That SEO is a scam.
Right.
SEO works, guys. Organic works, and you start to give up on organic, and you get somebody to do pay-per-click, and pay-per-click works.
Works a little
and
bit.
It seems like it's much easier because all you got to do is say, I want this keyword and I'll pay this much, and it'll be at the top of the page. But that's why it's so much more expensive, because you have all that control, and people start to think that that's the only thing that works. Organic works and returns at 400 or 500% better return on investment.
He was getting some search results, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But he didn't have enough because he called to pay for more.
Yeah.
The flaw was to not finish out the other work where the cheaper, better return on investment was.
Yeah.
And then
finish out your organic effort, get the best you can out of that, and then use pay-per-click to grow even more.
Yeah, which is what I do.
Right.
Yeah. This reminds me of an episode of Mad Men where Don was trying to get Dow Chemical, I think.
Yeah.
And the argument was they were happy with their current company, but he's like, come on, you guys are never happy. He said, well, we're getting 50%. And said, hey, we got London fog raincoats up to like 82% or something like that.
Yeah.
He said, enough. It's never enough.
Yeah.
It's never enough.
Yeah, there's I mean, I don't think we've ever had a client that ever called us and said, you guys are getting me the exact right number of leads.
Yeah, if I tell you what, if you knew, and this is always part of the deal, if the clients knew what I know and what we know, they would obviously fight for this stuff, right?
Right.
And we have for me personally, I'm pushing many things right now, right? And it's in an effort to move just a position or two up.
Yeah.
Overall. So all of our keyword rankings for HVAC Webmasters, all that are high, but we're doing a lot of things right now to move them all just maybe 2 spaces up. And
Right.
when they all move, and I'm talking about hundreds and hundreds of keywords,
Right.
but when they all move up 2 spaces because of more details done properly, we're going to double our organic search and double our call volume.
Right.
And double
Just
our client base.
like that.
It'll happen like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had one other thing on there I was going to talk about, but is from a client base perspective, we have I have someone that had called, and of course if we mention any of this stuff, we never mention anybody's names or even where they're located, but somebody had called, and it was such an old website. It was, the basis was there. They had an old Google account and an old domain, which is good because it's trusted by the search engines.
Right.
And it was a sad story overall because a guy was calling and to take over a family business. The family business had floundered over the years, but this was one of the first websites in this very large market, and it has the potential to be great. But because this company didn't focus on, it was an HVAC company,
Yeah.
HVAC company. Because the HVAC company did not focus on their search engine optimization, SEO, and all the stuff that goes along with it, they'd suffered and were unable to have a large business. And this individual calling to take over this business for the family business was going to work on it. So he had the bones of it there. But what the sadness to me about it was that we're talking I think it was almost 20 years old.
Yeah, I was about to say, was that the one that was almost a 20-year-old?
It was almost
domain?
2 decades. Yeah. But that generation before him had suffered really badly because they haven't done any of it.
Yeah.
And it's just, and they also, the thing is, yeah, you should pay for AdWords and you should pay for some on Google and Instagram and all that. But if you don't have that great return on investment that a great HVAC SEO campaign will do for you, then you're simply not going to get the type of return that makes it highly profitable for you.
Yeah, you're preventing the growth of your business.
You're preventing that
instead of enabling it.
Yeah. You're enabling poor results essentially by not doing it.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, I think that is good. I don't know. Do you have anything else to add to the beer goggle and closing time analogy for HVAC?
Just
SEO?
Guys, take off the beer goggles and call some experts. Call us, and we'll turn the lights on for you and show you what you really need to see.
It's that song, the closing time song.
Yeah.
I can't remember who. Do you know who?
I don't remember the name of the band.
Yeah. I know the notes, but I'm too embarrassed to sing it for you.
Yeah, let's not go there.
I'm not going to do that. All right. Take it easy, guys. We'll talk to you later.